जय सुभद्रा नित्य गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल नित्य गौर हरि बोल जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय जय गुरुदेव निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे
जय हम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिविचारेश्वर डिवाइन ग्रेस एसी भक्ति विधान स्वामी श्री प्रभुपाद की जय काउंडर फाउंडर आचार्य श्री प्रभुपाद की जय जय हम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिविचारेश्वर डिवाइन ग्रेस भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर प्रभुपाद की गौरकिशोर बाबा जी महाराज की सच्चिदानंद भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर की नामाचार्य हरिदास ठाकुर की षट गोस्वामी की प्रेम से करो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्री वासुदेव गौर भक्तवृंद की श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की गंगा माँ यमुना माई की भक्ति देव तुलसी महारानी की जय अयोध्यापुरी धाम मायापुर धाम जगन्नाथपुरी धाम रामेश्वर धाम की जय फिर मोस्ट ब्यूटीफुल निताई गौर सुंदर की मोस्ट ब्यूटीफुल श्री राधा माधव की फिर मोस्ट मर्सीफुल जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा माई की जय ऑल गिव्स assembled devotees all give assembled devotees all give assembled devotees all give Shri Guru and Gauranga.
Narasingaya Praladalaine Hiyanyakachi Purakshaha Silatankalakalaye Nita Narsima Palato Narsima Yato Yato Yamita To Narsima Matem Sharanam Prapade Narasingamatem Sharanam Prapade Avakara Kamala Vale Nakam Adbhuta Shinga Dalita Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Gurudeva, Jaya Gurudeva, Gurudeva, Jaya Gurudeva. भक्ति विघ्नविनाश का श्री लक्ष्मण सिंह भगवान की जय। भक्त श्रेष्ठ प्रहलाद महाराज की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय।
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So welcome everyone to ISKCON Baltimore, the abode of Nitai Gaur Sundar, Jagannath Subhadramai, and Shri Shri Radha Madhav. Hari Bol. Jagannath is missing in action because yesterday he was in New York City witnessing 10,000 people chanting his holy names, the Lord's holy names, and inundating the whole Fifth Avenue actually with that one. Those who went on the bus, they would have been there, they would have seen what a wonderful sight it was, seeing Lord Jagannath giving them mercy for that one. Today we are thankful all the devotees, I think. You can give to them. So I think today we are thankful to Siddhu Prabhu and Pancha Prabhu for cooking the feast today. We'd like to thank you them very heartedly. Haribo. We'd like to thank you the pujaris dressing deities beautifully, especially Radha Madhav. It's looking so opulent. So Haribol for them, please. We were giving you updates that Her Grace Kaumati ki Mataji. She was in the hospital, very serious, but Krishna's mercy, all the devotees kept praying. And now, hopefully, within a week, she'll be home. She's doing much better. She has some medical problem, which has to be gone with the age anyway. But can we keep the kids quiet, please, Haribo? So, with the age, we'll go through, but she's doing much better. And Bhavika Mataji and their whole family are very, very grateful. They said, please keep praying until she comes to the house. Because we know that with age, everybody's just to deteriorate anyway. But glories are those who are Vaishnavas, who fight like anything. Kaumati ki Mataji has been a role model for so many devotees here over the last 40, 50 years for that one. So we'll keep praying and we'll keep updating you. And very soon we'll have a kirtan also when all our kirtaniyas are here for Mataji. Next update, next week, not the 17th, so 23rd, 24th, 25th, we have our annual Madhav Mela festival, where kirtanas from all around the country will be coming there. We'll be singing beautiful bhajans and glorifying Lord. And we'll update you on, I think the DT ministry are coming this week, and they will evaluate the temple, and then they will let us know if we can have Giriraj can be installed in this time. If that happens, then on 23rd, 24th, we'll have Giriraj ceremony and also the Kirtan festival for that one. Today, I think Shyam Bhakti Mataji and Premdam Prabhu went, and some other devotees went through for the book distribution, and they distribute 8 Bhagavad-Gitas and 1 Srimad Bhagavatam set. Haribo. It is so important, Bhagavatam. We have seen lives have changed. Bhagavatam itself says that, those who with faith read this literature, this wonderful literature, Krishna will purify them inside the heart and will enter inside the heart. Bhagwan Vishatam Hriday says that. So if you don't have Bhagavatam, please take the Bhagavatam. We have many, many sets of Bhagavatam. It says that even you don't read the Bhagavatam, just keep the Bhagavatam inside the house. It is said that all demigods enter inside and sees and blesses the person with Bhagavatam. What to talk about, your devotees' blessings for that one. So if you don't have it. If you have it, but your friends don't have it, please encourage them to have it there, because this is, I think, this is what is called blessing of this of Kali Yuga to Bhagavatam and everybody's family. If you can get that, you will see difference, and it will make you so much more knowledgeable that you understand what is really Hinduism actually. It's amazing that I spoke to so many kids, parents, and their kids, they said, they're so confused, they don't know what Hinduism is. We are tortured at work or something, that, how many gods you have, 33 million gods or something like that. This is because lack of ignorance. When we were growing up, I was growing up, I had the same feelings. Because we don't read the Shastra, we don't read Bhagavad-Gita, everything, that Krishna is Supreme Lord for that one. And how This Bhagavatam has everything which is in there, which explain you everything from what is Lord Shiva, who's Goddess Durga, how Lord Krishna is supreme, everything written down there. So why not take this opportunity to get this in our house and teach our kids? Otherwise, when the kids are in college and past, then you'll be lost completely. Then some people will know what their goal of life is there, and this life is wasted, human form of life, until next life, which we don't know what will happen. So please take this seriously. We have a big festival in Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam. I think the date was appeared in this in planet in September, right, Mataji? September 29th. The day says that those who give Bhagavatam, accept Bhagavatam or give Bhagavatam, it says that on golden throne, Lord takes him back to Godhead, basically. So what a wonderful opportunity to go back to God without doing anything else there. So try to see if you can be part of this mission. We're going to be starting giving you details of this, how we can do that. And I think every one of you is a monumental person in that. Everyone who gets in Krishna conscious by being part of it, Krishna give you unlimited blessings for that. So my request is there, but it doesn't matter small, young, old. If you know knowledge, we'll train you how to talk to people and give Bhagavatam for that. Okay, so without taking too much time, I think the Gaurapriya Mataji is there. As always, you know that we have once a month, we have our kids, Sunday school kids, give a talk about Gitas and everything so that everybody gets enlightened. So today is one of their days. So I'll have Gaurapriya Mataji introduce. It's not working, right? Is it working?
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you all for your presence today. Today we have one of our Sunday school kid, Keshav, present Bhagavad-Gita, 3rd chapter. So he's going to do an overview for 10 minutes. So this is part of Sunday school. We have a lot of club also, like Shastra Club, Art and Craft Club, dance, drama. So if anybody of you interested to join your kids, you can contact Shama Bhakti Mataji or myself. So we have kids doing this presentation once a month. So Keshav is 11 years old and he's in 5th grade and he's been homeschooled by Shama Bhakti Mataji. So let's all encourage him by giving a big round of applause. So can all the Sunday school kids come and attend? Adi, can you call all of them to come and sit here and can all of them attend the class?
Hare Krishna, thank you for giving me this opportunity to present on the 3rd chapter. Let me first start with the Mangala Charan. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So today I'll be presenting on the 3rd chapter of the Bhagavad-Gita entitled Karma Yoga. So my first slide talks about the 5 main topics which are discussed and brought up in the 3rd chapter. These are in the order of which Arjuna converses with Krishna. The first one is work or detachment. Arjuna is confused on whether doing work is better or detachment is better because he thinks that doing ghastly warfare, which is actually his prescribed duty as a Kshatriya, is fruit of work. Then Krishna tells him the solution is to do work without attachment. This means that you do work as a sacrifice for Vishnu and give up the results to Vishnu. Next is the circle of sacrifice. Krishna tells Arjuna how by doing your prescribed duty as a sacrifice for Vishnu without having any attachment for the fruit of results, you can get free from bondage in this material world. Then Krishna tells Arjuna to set the right example because he's a great man and everybody will follow him. So if he sets the right example, then the world won't come to ruination. Then Arjuna asks Krishna, what drives people to commit to do fruitive activity. Krishna then tells him that this desire or lust drives people to do activity to get results and thereby get more bondage in this material world. The first one is work or detachment. Arjuna is telling Krishna, O Janardana, O Keshava, why do you want me to engage in this ghastly warfare if you think that intelligence is better than fruitive work? So basically, he's labeling ghastly warfare, which is prescribed duty, and which Krishna tells him to do as fruitive work. And he thinks that by being detached from his prescribed duty, that is actually intelligence. So basically, Arjuna doesn't want to do fighting, and he thinks that it's fruitive work. And he thinks that doing detachment is way better. Krishna then tells him the solution as work without attachment. Krishna says that doing work as a sacrifice for Vishnu has to be performed. Otherwise, work not done as a sacrifice for Vishnu causes bondage because you accumulate the karma that comes with doing those fruitive activities. Therefore, Krishna is saying to Arjuna, do your prescribed duties for his satisfaction by serving him and doing it without attachment, and in that way you'll always remain free from bondage. So Krishna is telling Arjuna how by doing work without attachment to the results, you could get free from bondage from the karma that comes along with doing fruitive activities. Next, Krishna tells Arjuna that how by doing work as a sacrifice for Vishnu, you can get material and spiritual happiness. Krishna tells Arjuna that in the beginning, the Lord sent down, which is Krishna or Vishnu, sent down mankind and demigods and sacrifices for Vishnu, which is basically your prescribed duties. Then Krishna is telling Arjuna that you should do it as a sacrifice for Vishnu, and how by doing sacrifices for Vishnu, the demigods will provide you with everything you need, and you will get material and spiritual happiness. This is why so in this slide, basically Krishna is listing to Arjuna how you get benefits from doing work as a sacrifice for Vishnu. Krishna then tells Arjuna to set the right example. Krishna says that that leaders who are actually leaders set the right example for the common people. Because if they don't set the right example, if they're not responsible for everybody, then they shouldn't be labeled leaders. They should not be leaders, because if they are not helping the common people, this is not good. So one time there used to be a famous actor, and he was very, very famous. So and he always used to have a cigarette dangling from his mouth. So since he was so famous, everybody started following him by just having a cigarette from their mouth. Teenagers, adults, everybody had it. So that sometime later he died of lung cancer. So all these poor people who were left behind also would get cancer of some sort. So this is why Krishna is saying that you should be a responsible person and set the right example. This is the right thing. So Krishna is basically saying that you should perform your duty because that's the right thing, and you're a great man, and everybody will follow you. Even if you do it with faults, that's not a problem because you are setting the right example. Arjuna then asks Krishna, why do people want to do fruitive work? What drives people to do fruitive work? Then Krishna tells him that lust is what the problem is. Lust is the desire to have anything or something. And to satisfy it and get the stuff, you need to do fruitive activities, which is like doing jobs or work, and then you get money for it, and then you can satisfy your desires. But it never stops, and it keeps getting bigger and bigger and more, and you have to do more and more stuff to do it. And then you get so much karma by when you do the process of fruitive activities, you get so much karma from it. So why should you, and it will bind you to this material world. So Krishna is saying that lust is our greatest enemy because it binds us and it never stops. It can be compared to a forest fire that destroys anything in its path and doesn't die down. In Bhagavad-Gita 3.37, it is said, Shri Bhagavanu Vacha Kamesha Krodesha Rajuguna Samudbhava Mahashano Mahapapa Vidyena Vedidam. So the word Mahashano means the all-devouring sinful enemy of this world. It drives people to do more and more sins. And in 3.41, it is said that lust is a great symbol of sin. So that Arjuna asked Krishna, how can you solve it? So Krishna then tells Arjuna that in Bhagavad Gita 3.41 again, that you can curb this by regulating the senses. So lust uses the working senses or the senses as a medium to get its desires fulfilled. The working senses that use the mind to get its desires fulfilled, because the mind makes the person do whatever the working senses have told it to, and above, the lust had told the working senses. So Krishna says that you put them in the right order. You should put the mind in control of the working senses and say, no, I will not do what you want, what lust is telling me to do. And then intelligence should be above that. So when this gets stopped, then this working senses, lust will stop using them as a medium and it will gradually die down. So the lessons learned is that spiritual or religious life is your duty, and it's a serious responsibility for self-progress. So you should not just do it as not for show off. You should do it for self-progress, as said here. This is why you should do your prescribed duty. Leaders of the society must act in a responsible way, because if they don't do it in a responsible way, the people will be walked on the wrong path, will go on the wrong path, and the world will come to ruin. So Krishna is saying that basically we could win over our inner enemies, such as lust, anger. We could do anartha nivritti, by purifying ourselves, by bringing Krishna into the picture, and by chanting. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Haribol. One other loud Haribol for us, Keshav. Keshav, see, the bell rang also. You did a great job. Amazing job. This is so amazing to see Sunday school kids practicing Bhagavad Gita. I think this is how our culture will spread. This is how Krishna consciousness is going to spread. If kids like these, just imagine they go out and tell other kids who have no knowledge. Actually, this is amazing. Our temple was very blessed. Yesterday we were in the bus and we were having Jagannath quiz. And most of our answers, the adults didn't know much answer, but the kids knew a lot of answers actually. So this is how it's a nice, when they become to the college time, they'll be much advanced enough. So great job, guys. Great job, teachers. Thank you so much. Haribol. You can give the lecture, another lecture you want.
No.
So we'll have short class now, but Bhagavad Gita 3.31. जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जयो निताई गौरा सुंदर जयो निताई गौरा सुंदर निताई गौरा सुंदर जयो निताई गौरा सुंदर जयो जगन्नाथा जयो जगन्नाथा बलदेवा जयो सुभद्रा जयो राधा माधव राधे जयो प्रभुपदा प्रभुपदा शिला प्रभुपदा ओम ज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानञ्जय शलाख्य चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपं कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपत्कमलं श्रीगुरुवैष्णवं च श्रीरूपं सग्रजातं सगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं सद्वैतं सवधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितं स नाम विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठा भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी इति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्ते स्तारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Divine Grace Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. Before I start, I'd like to take blessings of all the devotees. or just like wishful tree who can fulfill desires. I don't have any qualification, but I know that if I have faith in my Guru and Guranga and all the Vaishnavas, I can say the right words through my mouth. Haribol. So we'll go to chapter 3, verses 31. Ye me matam idam nityam anutishtanti manava shraddhavanto anusoyanto muncyanti te api karma bhi. Ye me matam idam nityam anutishtanti manava shraddhavanto anusoyanto mucyanti te api karma bhi. Ye me matam idam nityam anutishtanti manava shraddhavanto anusuyanto muchyante te api karma bhi. Translation purport Shri by His Divine Grace Shri Prabhupada ki Jai. Those persons who execute the duties according to my injunctions and who follow the teachings faithfully without envy becomes free from bondage of fruitive actions. Purport. The injunction of Supreme Lord Krishna is the essence of all Vedic wisdom and therefore is eternally true without exception. As the Vedas are eternal, so this truth of Krishna consciousness is also eternal. One should have firm faith in this injunction without envying the Lord. There are many philosophers who write comments on Bhagavad-Gita but have no faith in Krishna. They'll never be liberated from the bondage of fruitive activities. But an ordinary man with firm faith in eternal injunctions of Lord, even though unable to execute his orders, become liberated from the bondage of law of karma. In the beginning of Krishna consciousness, one may not fully discharge the injunction of Lord, but because one is not resentful of this principle and works sincerely without consideration defeat and hopelessness, he will surely be promoted to the stage of pure consciousness. Prabhupada's purports are ecstasies, divine ecstasies. Many have seen Bhagavad-Gita, so many Bhagavad-Gitas, but the way, the clarity he has given these Bhagavad-Gitas is just mind-boggling. When I was small, I read Bhagavad-Gitas also, but we used to read and used to go like this all the time. But when go there, but keep our persistence there. Some of the things, because our body has been denying the presence of Krishna for lifetime, millions of lifetimes. So suddenly you get the reality and you go through that. It's not that you're going to remember immediately. You have to read again and again. Just like when we give exam, what happens? You're not the genius unless you're a genius. That's different. I wasn't. I have to read like 4 or 5 times. To read again and again. Revise. Bhagavad-Gita people read for 100 times also. But every time they read, they find something new in Srila Prabhupada books basically. So there's some very wonderful points in there and thought we can go by one. It says that why is Krishna, is whatever wordings Krishna is eternally true? Because any person who has brought things unchanged from long time, that's the one which is there, which is called aparashika. Aparashika means the one who doesn't have any human defects. What are human defects? One who finds false people, who lies, who's illusion. I am this body, this is my house, this is my family. And you cheats others. Those are called human forms. Very difficult that even if you are devotees or not pure devotees, but even you're there, you will have some defects itself. Because if you're free from defects, you will be human being. You will be Krishna there basically. So because Krishna is eternal and Vedic wisdom is eternal, so whatever Krishna says, it will be completely true. We just have to have fame. That's why we thought we could discuss about firm faith for that one. It says that one should have firm faith in his injunction without envying the Lord. That's another important point which is there. Many people write Bhagavad-Gitas. Our President of India, Radha Krishna, wrote Bhagavad-Gita also. He wrote an impersonal Bhagavad-Gita that Lord has no form, but Krishna is one of the persons, and we all merge into and get out of that. So when you have enviousness, because you're not ready to accept there is a supreme power above you, what happens? You become envying. Why is Lord not envious? Because he knows there is nobody above him. Everybody is below him. If you are the king of the whole world and there's nobody above you, you will say, no, I have nothing to worry about. But when you have somebody above, you're always envying. You're always envying, oh, I want this position. Somebody is richer than you, oh, I want this car. Somebody said, I want this thing. Somebody is more glory, more powerful, I want that power. So enviousness is part of human beings because we always want more and more and more. We're never satisfied. We are not like birds. Prabhupada said that birds, what happens? You throw paddy of rice on the street. Bird will come pick up little bun. Some other animals take little bun, but a human being will take the whole paddy and run away. That's a fact of life. Human beings cannot leave that. It's a sad part, and that's why we suffer through that, because it says in Upanishad that everyone is entitled to what is required for him, what is destined for him. He cannot get more than one, he cannot get less than one. So if you think you can become billionaire in this life, but it's not destined, you can try everything, every cheating. You will never get it there for that one. So Sri Prabhupada was saying that these philosophers who envy Lord and give their own interpretations will never liberate from this bondage. And life after time, they will go through different species of life, different human beings suffering through that itself. This is very important. But he said, an ordinary man with firm faith in some eternal injunctions of Lord, even though he cannot execute the order, he'll get liberated completely. Prabhupada gives sometimes in Bhagavatam an example of women. Women are by nature very pure-hearted, very simple. And they believe anybody very easily. So if you see in religious things, women are in most numbers because they accept it there. Of course, they can be misled also very easily, but they can accept it very easily. So it says that that's why women, when they accept the things very piously towards Krishna, and that's why we are the most pujaris of women here, because they accept Lord very purely. So it's a very big quality to have, this purity in the heart of being able to accept what is there without any envious at all. Not just Lord, not by envious about each other also. Because when enviousness happens, oh, this person is doing more than me, is getting recognized, what happened? Then your bhakti gets tainted. Your bhakti gets tainted, then everything gets tainted completely for that. And faith is such an important factor in life that without faith, nothing gets done. You had faith that you'll come to America, that's why you came here. You had faith that you will get this job, you will get the faith. If you didn't have faith, you wouldn't study hard, you wouldn't do anything else there. Faith is one which compels you to do anything you want. And faith is one thing for Lord. For other things can be sown by anything else, but for faith, Radhan Maharaj says very nice thing. Faith, you don't learn. Faith is sown inside. And it's sown as a seed, and as you hear the rightful instruction, you follow right things, it blossoms into flower. So how did many of us have a faith? Two ways. One is many of you, like some people come and just come here Krishna conscious. Oh, we met some of them, very amazing devotees. Like today we had two great personalities here in a congregation got initiated. Sunil Katta Prabhu and Gautami Mataji. And it's amazing, 2-3 years back, they just came on the street and we just met. They came to Krishna conscious, like just came to temple 1 or 2 times. And they just loved. One time they came, listen to Aarti, everything, and life changed completely for them. Now 3 years later, now they got initiated. They won a top book distribution. So I said, how's your life? He said, nothing can be more wonderful than that itself. He said, but how did you come? He said, I was just wondering what's going on. So I just came here and was curious. I met Adhoksha Prabhu, few other devotees, and something struck in my heart. What is this heart? Paramatma, Krishna sitting inside. He said, you have done many things in your life, previous life. And one thing Krishna always remember, he doesn't forget. Krishna always remember what you have done. He knows, it says that very nice thing that, when you give, Krishna knows what you're giving, but he also knows what you're keeping behind. So always remember, I'm giving charity to Lord or something, that's fine. But then what you're keeping behind, you think, oh, nobody knows. He knows everything for that. So just don't try to be smart with Krishna. You can be smart with your boss, but not with Krishna for that. It's very important for that. So the faith concept is very important. The more faith. Yeah, so this was one faith where it's called Sukritis from previous life. You come through and you associate with that. The other faith, how you develop is associating devotees. Some devotees this is why Prabhupada, this is why ISKCON is so amazingly that devotees go at their own risk of life. In Pakistan also they're going preaching to when Muslims are attacking them, everything else. They're in Midwest. Midwest is like Dubai has 1,000 Bhakti Vrikshas there. You can imagine that how much is there. Even though in Muslim country you can preach, but they preach like that. So devotees go out, and they give these books itself. And somebody touches the books, Prabhupada, Visheshak Prabhu says is that you just give this to an atheist person or anybody else here. He just touches his book. His life is already, he got a human form of life in the next life. So how much wonderful is there those who are reading these books? If just by touching you get a human form of life, if just listening devotee you get a human form of life, so what if you're reading and following these teachings, what will happen for that? Only thing is don't have envy and complete faith. So the second part, how you get faith is, you accidentally associate with devotee. You're walking through somewhere and this devotee is there, he's persistent. And you're saying, oh, you know what, I hope I can get it off then. And the guy is persistent. And you're getting annoyed. Somebody gives you a book and you say, I don't want to read it. But you go home somehow and you open, you're just tired, everything. And suddenly you open the book and it changed your life. I think one of the congregation member here was telling me her story that she was sitting inside a car next to Patel Brothers. And this one of her devotees who's not here in India now, so he kept pestering, and as soon as she saw him coming there, she was just watching like this. Many devotees do that, not paying attention at all. Suddenly he knocked on the door. He said, oh my God, I hope he doesn't ask me something. So he puts the window time. He said, why don't you take this book? He said, no, I'm fine. He said, trust me, you don't have to do anything at all. She said, okay, I just wanted to get rid of him, so I took that book. The book was called Science of Self-Realization. So she took that book, and she kept it there, and after a few days, weeks, she was very bored. She said work was stressful. She said, let me see what is in the book. Started reading the book, and she said, I couldn't stop it after that, and changed my life. So, when devotees go out at their own self-esteem, the biggest hurdle in going book distribution is self-esteem. Or what if, say, somebody says wrong things to me, my ego will get hurt. Right? That's why you shy of something. Or because if I shy of public speaking? Because when you go on the stage and you forget something or do something, people laugh at me. At me. What is this me? Is it soul or your body? At your body, not the soul. The soul is pure as always. But this false ego stops us completely. But when you give it up and go outside, then you see the treasures of wealth of love of God will open up for you. You just have to go into peculiar circumstances, uncomfortable circumstances, and go and do that. Then you see how much Krishna will be blessing you completely. Sunil Prabhu and Gautami Mataji did that, and within like year and a half, 2 years, they were doing chant, book distribution. They were one of the top book distribution in our temple. It's not simple that happens for that. So similarly, the faith, what faith brings? Second is association devotees or sant. Even they says that somebody's done so much bad things in their life, and he's suffering through so badly. But just by accidentally, and they're supposed to go in the next life a hog, a dog, a pig, he has to become definitely. But just by a saint came through and just looked at him and say, why don't you chant this Hare Krishna? That's it. His life changed. He became a devotee, go back to God in this very life. So how much wonderful it is there that we have been blessed by Sri Prabhupada, by Krishna so wonderfully, that we just have to take this inside our heart and do it there. Everyone will suffer in this life. You think you won't suffer? No, there's nobody. You will suffer from Adi Devik, Adi Bhautik, Adi Adhyatmik. Your body will suffer. You can get cancer, heart attack, all the stuff. Even great devotees suffer through that too. But their suffering is minimized because Krishna takes their bigger suffering on himself and takes their suffering decreased. How devotee deals with that? He gets accident, just a scratch. If you're a materialist person, oh, my car got scratched, this got scratched. Devotee said, thank you, Krishna. You saved me, otherwise I could have been dead today. And that's a fact, that anytime you get hurt, it's much lesser if you are devotee, you get lesser if you are otherwise, you can much worse. I've seen in my hospital so many people coming through motorcycle, going through, flying in the air, legs hurt, legs hit, amputated, all the stuff there. One guy came with no hands, no legs. What kind of life are you leading? But for devotee, we have believed. What did Krishna says? Kaunte pratijanahi name bhakte pranishyati. Like Kaunte declare, my devotee will never perish. Now people said, oh, then why do devotees have medical problems or stuff? If Krishna said protection. Krishna didn't say, I'll take care of body. Krishna said, I'll take care of soul. My devotee will never perish means the consciousness of a devotee will never be forgotten from me, whether this life or next life. So when he dies also, the next life, by Krishna's wordings, next life, his consciousness will start where he stopped, he'll start from there. But a materialist person will start from zero, he did something, stays always zero. But Krishna says, carry on one, you won't start from zero. That's what Krishna says. Your consciousness is always fixed on me. Krishna says in Bhagavad-Gita also, Arjuna asked him, what is the situation of those people who for some reason, they took Krishna consciousness and unfortunately for some reason, they fell down from their path. Then Krishna says, my devotee will never perish. If some reason they don't even finish their sadhana, in the next life, two things will happen. Either they will be born in a family of very rich kings or something where they get so much opulence, or they'll be born in a family of great transcendental saint where they're from the day one, their birth is always sanctified and they'll go back to this life. But there's such a birth is very, very rare for that one. So this is called faith. If you have faith, everything happens. But faith only happens when you're simple. When you have a lot of wealth, fortune, everything, you don't do that. Just like Kunti Maharani says, Jan Ashware Shrutsribi Edamana Madapuman Navarte Adividhatun Vai Tvam Akinchan Gocharam. That my Lord, your treasure house of Akinchan Gocharam. Akinchan means those who don't have any material possessions. Because why? Because those who have high birth, I'm a Kshatriya, I'm a Brahmana, or a high wealth, or beauty, or power, what happens? They can't call Krishna's name because their feeling is not there. And because they have all those, they continue on increasing their desires to self-satisfaction, sense gratification. But a person who is very simple, immediately believes in Krishna, Krishna have nothing at all. Just imagine, before the cell phone was there, you'll always pay attention to everything there. But now with cell phone happen, even lectures, you'll be watching this rather than lectures for that one. So this is a fact that simple living, high thinking is gone for that, which Prabhupada always emphasized. Speaking of faith, you know, our Bharat Bhumi is so fortunate. Actually, we are very fortunate born in a place like India, Bharatvarsh, because there's so many stalwart saints have born there. And if you associate with their life, you see that every time there's a mercy of Krishna all the time there. Every time there's a mercy. I was listening to this, some stories about some great devotees. Very simple. There was one devotee in Bundelkhand. And she was just there. And then people used to call him like Pagal Bodhiya, means she's a mental case. She was acting very weird. But she has a great faith in Lord Ram. And every time she will go, Lord Ram, she'll do all the stuff there. But she is intense. But she was very simple. So one time she heard that Lord Ram, some special program is going on. And the Bundelkhand, she wanted to cross the river. But the river was all clogged. It was like almost 1.5 miles, the river was all filled up. So that time, this was like 300-400 years back, they used to have a small dona there. It's a small, I think, what is it called? I don't know what's it called in English. But it's like a small thing. I hope you understand. It's not a boat, but it's like a round thing you can sit in there and travel through. So there were people who were sitting there, and they say, oh, I want to go across. He said, you can't go in this one at all. But she has such an intense desire. So she was standing there, and these people were watching her. She said, Ram, Rakho. Her kid was in her head. She said, take care of the Rakho. You take care of him. She threw the kid in water. And people said, what the heck? Is she mad or something? So then next time what she sees is, people said, oh, this kid is going to drown. And they come there. And you know, when we are growing up, we had this stone, right? And we used to, in the water, we used to throw the stone like this. We used to say, how many times we'll defeat people? How many times you pick the steps? 1, 2, 3 times, right? We'll go on water. Similarly, the kid was a dona, and he bounced like this and went to the other side. And same time, after that, she said, Ram, I'm coming. She ran on the water like that. So those people were saying, they said, my God. And then her feet wasn't wet at all. Because the faith was there. She's simple. She had so intense faith in the Lord. Lord, you will take care of me. This is your thing. When you put everything on Him, then you know things will happen for that. But you don't have a faith, then nothing happens. There's another story about another one intense faith, which really struck me, but I don't suggest you guys should do that. I'll tell you why. So there was this old 80-year-old lady. She was in Mataji, she was in a hut. And she was just walking, and suddenly she didn't realize that it was recently patched, the hut. She was on top. The bottom was concrete. And she, I think, was like 10 feet high. And she just thought, oh, this is thatch, it's okay. She went down, and broke her hip. So people took her to the hospital, and the doctor said, well, her age is that much, she has problem, she won't survive, so bring her home. She brought her home. So she got really mad. She said, she had a deity of Chaturbhuj Lord, or four-handed Lord. He said, all my life, I worship you so much. And now when I'm leaving my body, I have to suffer through this. So from now onwards, I'm not worshiping you. I'm going to curse you every day. So every day she was cursing Lord or something else. And the kids were saying, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this itself? He said, no, because when I have to leave this body now, she's doing this. Why did he do that? I could have just left my body, it'll be fine. Why did he do this? So this is it, what is there for that. So then one day, the temple was right next to it, I think a little bit walking distance. So the kids woke up and they didn't realize. So somehow she crawled. What happened? She went there, opened the lock. She knew where the lock was. The pujari opened the lock and came inside and locked the door from inside in the temple. So when they saw, they couldn't find her, they looked around. Then they said, where is she? So they saw that the temple door was open. The pujari, they were knocking on the door. He said, who's there? He said, I'm coming, I'm coming. When she comes out, she's standing and walking. He said, let's go home. So they said, what happened? He said, that Chaturbhuj who made it happen, I locked the door and I said, look, all this life, I wanted to worship or do all the stuff and you're doing this to me. So now you will see, either you fix my leg, or I'll break your leg. So he said that, they use the Chandan, they have this special in India. He said, I'm coming. And she raised his hand like that. And he said, no, please don't, I'm coming. He came out and he touched her and pressed it. It was gone completely. He said, so he took care of that. So these are called faith. Now, we don't ask you to break your deity something else. That's not part of the situation. Plus, we don't have faith. But lesson is very simple but intense faith. Simple, intense faith. When you have faith, everything can happen. So faith is what delivers you completely. But if you don't have faith, you can do whatever. It doesn't matter. Just like we devotees of faith that, is Bhagavatam, Bhagavad-Gita are the panacea for this Kali Yuga. If we can just worship that completely, everything will be fine for that. That's why do you think devotees go on book distribution? Because we know every one of our life has changed because of this book distribution. If you were not part of it, you wouldn't have known. There's so many stories about that one. I was telling last time is that one person took the Bhagavad-Gita and just left it in the house and his wife threw in the trash there. And 10 years later, they were cleaning up. He finds the Bhagavad-Gita. He said, what is this? And he started reading that and became one of top devotees. He said, so I said, why did you become a devotee? He said, I said, what happened? He said, I was just thinking that my life is so miserable, all the stuff there. And then I got this book and my life changed completely. So Bhagavad-Gita is a very powerful thing for that one. So the Bhagavatam, we were just talking about all the stuff. So regarding the faith, it says that, its mention is that faith, Ramanujacharya, so we have 4 sampradayas. Every sampradaya gives a different understanding of what Krishna is trying to say. Because these realizations, we cannot give realization. Prabhupada always said that you don't distract from the meaning. You just listen to what they're saying and tell everybody like that. So Ramanujacharya says very nicely about this one. He says that, what he says is that the 3 types of faith are there for people. One faith is written here. One faith is there. One person who has faith in Shastras and do as it is told. Follows everything. Okay, you don't do this, no meeting, no gambling, no illicit sex, no intoxication, anything else. Follow everything because Krishna says, I'll follow it. Perfect, top class devotee. The second one is who believes in Shastra, reads the Shastra but doesn't follow it. Many of us. Right? Third one is there who doesn't read the Shastra, no meaning at all, but doesn't envy the Shastras or doesn't envy Krishna. So in this verse, it's said for those ordinary people who are supportive, who may not be able to read it, may not follow that, but they are not envying it there. And they have faith in Krishna. So he said, if those people, I will take care, they'll be liberated from this life completely. So just imagine, Krishna is so kind that if those kind of people can get liberated, just have just simple faith, how much wonderful we will be there that we can go from there. Now liberation, people say liberation has different meanings. Some say liberation is giving up this body. That's what Mayavadi says. Many sects in India, they say the same thing too. Or Tattvamasi, that you give up this body, will merge with God and you become like a light, a dark, everything there. You want to be like that? You want to lose your individual personality? No, I don't want to lose that. I want to be the same individual person. Because what are you going to do? Just stay like darkness and like that? No. We're light. Krishna is light. And we want to go to light basically. So those are, that's another thing is, so this faith is so important that you can take care of all this. So these kind of 3 faiths were written for that one. That if you can follow that very clearly, then life can be very easy for that one. Then it is say about the liberation. So liberation is not about change in body. Liberation is change in consciousness. That's a true liberation. The other one is false liberation, that you'll give him this body. But true liberation is when your consciousness is changed and you become Krishna conscious without envying that. Then what happened? Life after life, you have to come back. You'll always remember Krishna. You'll never forget it. And you'll always be associated with that. Many times people go through so much suffering for that one. But people say, why are we suffering through that? Sometimes they test. The Maya Devi test you completely. And make sure that, sometimes there'll become so many obstacles. When you're this much close to that, and you leave it. One of the great sannyasi, I asked him, sometimes even Krishna conscious devotees sometimes start having a little bit extra taste. Oh, let me have this, let me have chocolate, let me have other things itself. What's your feeling about that? He said, I always believe in one thing, that if there's a chariot coming to you, to taking you to Golok Vrindavan, and they were just looking at your karma in this life, and they say, oh, this guy just had this, and that's why he couldn't go back to Godhead. What will you feel like that? You feel so hurt. Wish I had not done that at all. So he said, you have to be very careful that don't hurt any devotees, don't envy anybody at all. Have complete faith in Krishna, and don't go for sense gratification, taste all the time. Oh, I can have chocolate, I can coffee, all the stuff. What are those? Just temporary for tongue, you're controlling that, right? After that, what happened? You ask people at my hospital or other places, they're so addicted to caffeine, they cannot take with that. I said, so how much sleep? I said 7 hours, but I'm not used to. I need caffeine to wake me up. Are you going to have a life depending on drugs? Is that the life you want to live? Or you want a life independent drugs, but something spiritual drugs you have? That's what your life you have to live. Otherwise, what happened? Time after time, something will happen and you always go on drugs. First this drug addiction, then marijuana. Now marijuana is very common. This is society coming through now. That, Prabhupada said, it's like blind leading the blind here right now. We have so many people, oh, we're going to get money, marijuana will take care of all your stress, come drink marijuana, smoke marijuana, all the stuff there. This is now become legal here. But what is not become legal is preaching to everybody with pure heart. And if all of us with like-minded people come and tell people like, look, there is no need to intoxication. Just live a simple life and I think you'll be happy. Problem in life happens when you go out your means. Try to get out of your means. If you have phone, you don't need to get a latest iPhone 14 or 15. 3 years back, the phone is the same. 4 years back, phone was the same. Just small, but you need to get upgrade because your friend's going to say, oh, you're still living in the past or your future. So you have to decide what is your past or future for that. If you can do that, then your life will be very good. Otherwise, you'll go life after that. So Bhagavatam, I was reading from Bhagavatam, I want to share a very beautiful verse. It says the effect of faith. What is the effect of faith, which is the most important part for that? One second. It says that what is the benefit of faith is Shrinvata Shraddha Nityam Grinantascha Swacheshtitam Kalenati Dirigena Bhagwan Vishate Hridi. This is my favorite verse. What it says that Shrinvata, listening, Shraddha Nityam. Shraddha means with faith, always. Whenever you listen to something, always have faith in the listening. Not like, oh, that speaker, I don't have faith, this speaker, I have faith. No. What happened? Grinantas, Grinan means grahan. You accept it. Swate cheshtitam. Swacheshti means your cheshta, means sincere, serious endeavor. If you hear these words of Bhagavatam with your serious endeavor, what will happen? Kalena ati dirghena. Dirgh means long time. Na ati dirghena means very short time. Bhagwan vishate hriday. Lord will enter your heart. How beautiful is word that, Lord Bhagavatam is saying that just by reading. Is there some kind of magic like that? That, oh, just by reading Bhagavatam, you don't even see Krishna. Just by sound vibration, because there is no difference sound and Krishna. He's eternal, we are eternal, but he's Nitya Nityanam, and we are not complete eternal for that one. So we have to understand. So what happened is that, after that is that, when you hear Bhagavatam, then the next step happened. It says that, Pravishta Karan Randhrena. The sound of vibration, Pravishta, enters inside Karan Randhrena. Randhrena means hole. This ear holes, it enters inside the sound. And what happens? Swanam Bhav Saruraham. And inside the heart of the lotus flower loving relationship with Krishna. When you develop that through his Bhagavatam, what happens? Dhunoti Shamlam Krishna. Krishna, Dhunoti, he cleans up the dirtiness inside your house. Lust, anger, envy, greed. Just like what? Salisya Yata Sarat. The water, dirty, muddy water. When Sharad Ritu come, autumn season come, the rain cleans up all the dirt from there. Similarly, when you listen to this Bhagavatam, this sound vibration, then Krishna enters inside and he cleans your heart so that there is no lust, anger, envy. So he's so merciful. Krishna is so merciful, giving us. So he said, just read this, nothing else. What is 20 minutes a day? If everyone takes a vow today, okay, nothing, I'll spend 15 minutes. Is that a difficult time out? 15 minutes, nothing at all. Just 15 minutes of Bhagavatam a day, you will see that treasure houses of knowledge, treasure houses of happiness will open in your heart. Guarantee you today, if you just said, okay, every day, just like I don't forget eating, I will not forget reading Bhagavatam. That's not very difficult to ask. But I can assure you that if you take a trial for just 1 month, try for 1 month, and you will see that your life will be so different. When you come later, you say, Prabhu, after 1 month, I'll see you here. And you say, Prabhu, I don't know what happened, but I read this Bhagavatam now. I want to read more. I want to chant more. I want to do more and more. I want to do more service. You will be so different. He said, I feel so happy inside the heart that I can explain you. Why we came to this country? To be happy. But we are not happy. We're miserable here, most of us. Because sometimes we are all tortured by somebody. Whether it's wife, family, boss, weather, something's got to torturing you somewhere. Look at Philadelphia, what happened? Somebody's driving, a truck came inside, blew up, and the whole highway collapsed. One kid got thrown out. We were not planning. The kid wasn't traveling. The family wasn't planning that. But it happened. You think you'll be saved from that? One day everybody has to go through his tribulations. Sometimes disease, death, everything. But you will say, no, I won't die. Why? Birth is a right, but death is not a right. Death is a right just like a birth is a right. But you will deny the right because you think you will never die. But everyone has to die. But we are not able to accept that. Because you said, as long as life is going well, that's fine. My friend, one day when this will happen to you, there is nobody look back. Then you'll be disaster. You see materialist people, if something happens, somebody, their family, they start panicking. Oh, I don't know what to do. But devotee is very peaceful because they have this treasure house of Krishna who protects him through his holy name, through his Bhagavatam, Bhagavad-Gita, and institute devotees for that. So my request is there, take this life seriously. Have faith that when we come to this institution, we come to the temple, not to joke around, not talk around. We come to nurture our inner feelings so the whole week we can take care of them complete. Jai Jagannath. And then you will see the life will bring so many more happiness, a spiritual happiness, a material happiness. Okay, so we'll stop right now. We'll take 1 or 2 questions, then we'll stop. Hare Krishna.
Raise your hand if you have questions. I can give the mic to you.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandot Pranam. Wonderful lecture and wonderful explanation in a simple word. One question, Prabhuji, when you mentioned like that person read the Bhagavatam from the trash after 10 years. So that means time when the person is not ready, because that 10 year he was not ready and Krishna gave him the time, and then when the time came, can you just bring some light
So
there?
it was
like,
Bhagavad-Gita actually.
Yeah, Bhagavad-Gita.
Yeah, Bhagavad-Gita. Yeah. So Prabhu, you're right. Vaishyak Prabhu, you know what he said? Vaishyak Prabhu, he said very nice. He said, there's time for everyone. He says some people are standing at the window thinking that this Krishna conscious devotee is going to come and give the book to them. Just that's why what happened is that, you know, there's a time, there's in Motel Gita, when we distribute a lot of Bhagavad Gitas. So one of the motel, there's a guy there and he was planning to commit suicide that night. And somehow that motel, Krishna conscious devotees put the Motel Gita. So he said, okay, before I die, let me see what book I have to read before I do. And accidentally he was about to read the Bible. Then he saw Bhagavad Gita next to it. And he picked it up. He said, what is this? Let's read. And there he read some shlokas. It changed his life. And he came to the motel person. He said, thank you so much for keeping this book that kept me alive. So similarly, just like you said, there's time, place, or circum everybody there. Whether it's a Gyat Sukriti, whether it is there, because one reason always there, that book will act definitely, Bhagavad Gita act definitely, because when you Bhagavad Gita, that person, his human form of life is definitely guaranteed completely for that. So it's just a matter of time that he got the book in hand. And that's what it is there. Maybe it was Sukriti, maybe it was time to be, or maybe somebody got merciful or that for that. So yes, definitely. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for beautiful class on the faith. I remember one point from my Guru Maharaj. He was telling to the degree we have received to the reciprocation of our heart, the acceptability, to the degree we have received those, or applied in our life, to that degree we will, have a strong faith and strong commitment. And it applies to everyone. For a new person, they come here, they don't have so much faith, but eventually it develops. For me, it's also I was thinking, I'm not able to accept so many instructions. Because I don't have so much strong faith.
Yes.
So how can I be much more faithful and accept the instructions of the Guru and the Shastra in my life?
So, Prabhu, one thing, Krishna is instruction of the Guru is very important. Once you get a Guru, then all the obstacles come through. But sometimes can happen that, for some reason, Guru probably asks you and you're not able to fulfill. Then what you do is you come and do seva. Come and do seva. The more seva you do in the temple, like the best important thing which I feel whenever I'm distraught, either I'll do like pot washing, cleaning the bathroom, something like that. Because what happens is that it rejuvenates my strength. Because sometimes everybody gets burnout is possible, everything happens. Sometimes there is a lot of responsibilities. And the second thing is you have association of mentor or a devotee. A devotee who really loves you from the bottom of the heart and really wants you well-wishing. Because sometimes the devotee could like egg you, keep moving on, make you enthusiastic. You cannot do it alone. This cycle is not a alone cycle that you can sit at home, you can read, you can do all the stuff. This cycle is, if that was the case, Prabhupada would have sat in Vrindavan. The cycle is all about, let's come together, let's go back together for that one. So whenever you have issues, you can do it there. Pray to mercy of Guru Maharaj, I cannot do that. Guru sitting inside your heart, he knows that he will send you some signal or empower you somewhere. But I feel that then you have another devotee, talk to him confidentially if you know somebody. Because you should always have a confidential friend who knows a devotee friend. And then seva, I see that seva is the one which always does it there. The more menial the seva, the more upliftment you feel about that one. And the more seva you do, keep doing it, that you will see that very soon you said, oh my God, that was the answer I needed for that one. So that's my humble. I could be wrong, Prabhu. Sundaram, please add on. Thank you. Thank you. Okay.
Sorry, Prabhu.
No problem. Sorry.
Prabhu, you gave one example regarding faith. So, a lot of things happen in our life.
Yes.
So, whenever anything happen, that always always affect on our faith or our belief in Lord.
Yes.
And our mind is so chanchal at that time. Our mind is going different way instead of going on bhakti. So what or how we can change so that those effect will not happen in our
Yes.
life?
Prabhu, I think the reason our faith gets, like when something happens, is because our sadhana is not very strong. A strong sadhana generates strong faith. If you wake up in the morning and you chant like 3:30, 4 o'clock, 4:30, do your round, chant really sincerely, you associate with devotees regularly, and you do seva, then what happens? Your faith will never go wrong. Because what will happen, anything adverse happens in your life, it will give you more strength to do more seva, more sadhana, and to fight that faith. But if you don't have that, then your faith will say, why is Krishna doing to me? Or why do good things happen to bad people, bad things happen to good people, like that. Then you start questioning Krishna. Krishna never does it bad to anybody, whether you are a well-wisher or ill-wisher to Krishna. He never does that. It's the perspective of the person who thinks that Krishna is doing that. When you ask for money, does Krishna give you money? No, Krishna of course sanctions you according to your karma for that. But Krishna is not going to give you. If a devotee asks for money, Krishna would not give something when he realized that this devotee will be averse to me or something. But if devotee doesn't follow the thing, something called conscience. Sometimes when you are doing first time you did something wrong, you lie to somebody. There's somebody inside who's telling you not to do that, not to do that. Now, if you listen to the person, then you're fine. But after some time you forget, then the super soul inside will say, well, he's not remembering me. I'll let him go whatever you want. The same thing happens. When you think about something reverse happen, he will say, no, it's okay. He will give you some signal. But if you're not ready to accept the signal, but you take a material platform and thinking that, materially I'm suffering, it's Krishna's fault? No. If you're preaching spiritually, that's different. Material is not Krishna's. Krishna is not here. You came different from Krishna because you wanted to enjoy different from Krishna. Krishna said, I'm with you. I'll give you all happiness, 100%, 365. All the time you'll be happy. Just stay with me. But you want to see, Krishna is enjoying. I want to enjoy like Krishna. So you came to this world, separate from Krishna. Just like a kid is separate from mother, I can never be happy. Similarly, you get separate from Krishna. So now you're suffering through. You're trying to get happy by gambling, by intoxication, doing all kinds of things, but you're never happy. But the thing which is giving you happiness, you don't have complete faith in him. So, very important, your sadhana will make you really strong. This Hare Krishna mantra is so special in Kali Yuga that before the Satya Yuga, everywhere else there, people used to Valmiki Muni did 36,000 year meditation. So many did like 10,000, 15,000 years. What you would ask 16 rounds a day, what is it, 2 hours a day? Is that a lot? Just to go back to Godhead? No. But we don't want to do that either. Because for us, priority is different. Priority is a cell phone, iPhone, everything is possible like that. So, we have to have faith, Prabhu. Anytime, any adversities happen, Krishna, you are the doer. Whatever you think is best for me. Maybe it could have been much worse. Maybe the adversities happen, maybe it could have been you instead of the other person. Right? We can think about that also. We sometimes, yes, but he's our father. We right to be angry at him also. That why did you do that, something else? But not be adverse to him. Okay? Please. Yes.
Too. So 12 years ago, the
Yes.
Bhagavad-Gita was given to me at Patel Brothers.
Yes.
And I was like, I don't have change. He's like, I still know the person who gave me the book. And he was like, never mind, keep the book, you don't have to give. So I found out the change and gave it to him. 12 years, I didn't touch it. It is in my puja room. It is there. I see every day, but I've been postponing it. My son is so much inclined towards coming to ISKCON through my brother and other things. So we
Yes.
started coming. As I'm coming, talking to devotees about all these various groups, everybody I got introduced, I said, why don't you join this group, Bhagavatam group, another group? And I'm mesmerized with people waking up at 5 o'clock and doing the japa, and then there's another one at 1 o'clock. I'm into so many groups, and I was really thrilled. And I want to give an example of being associated with the right devotees. And that empowered me to start opening the book. Then I started reading the book, and I enjoyed like listening to the videos and then reading it. So I think that's the motivation and spirit by going with the right association and right people.
Haribol, loud Haribol. See, this is a classic example that books make a difference in everybody's life. Just be persistent. Give it to your friends. Be insistent. If you are a well-wisher of your friends, then give it to them, all the stuff. Like this is not one example, 1,000 example like that. Somebody gave the book in hospital. I went and gave it person in hospice who was dying. And then he told me that, you know what, he told me secret that, I listened to this Vaishnav song. I started listening. He was one of the biggest drug lords in Caribbean. He was one of the, not drug lord, he was the autocratic leader there in 60s, 70s. And somehow they called me and went there and I gave Bhagavad-Gita and it was just mesmerizing. He said, he remember 80s, I used to do Bhagavad-Gita for God. So Krishna will connect with somewhere. So when he died, he had Bhagavad-Gita, he died very peacefully. So it is going to happen. We just have to just connect it there. Problem is there, our ego stops us from taking the next step. Oh, this is religion, this is there. No, this is not religion, this is faith, this is your life. Don't let your life waste away like that. You're 30, 40, then you're 50, then 60, then after that, you'll have diseases, all the stuff, heart attack. Then when you get time to read? This is a time when your intelligence is sharp. Use it. What is 15 minutes a day? Start it. You will see the guarantee, like Mataji's classic example, that you will see the difference. Associate devotees, so many wonderful groups are there. Why not take advantage of that? Their bhakti vrikshas are there, take advantage. And you don't leave it. If you don't like, give a month try. It doesn't happen, leave it after that. But I can guarantee you will never leave it. Because the happiness you feel is the soul happiness. It's not the body happiness which you get from outside. So thank you so much. It was very wonderful. Thank you for giving an example. Hare Krishna. Okay, we'll stop now. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for a wonderful class, practical and helpful for everyone. Hare Krishna.